Mustafa Al Jazari through the police body cams, Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope, Amy Hodgkins, aka Christine Alkazai, aka Christine Warda Subin. She likes to call herself on TikTok Christine Alkazai. Amy Hodgkins, Glenn Ford, Kylie Clapp, the star witnesses, Nene, aka Kim Coleman, under the microscope. This is a heavy title, and there's a lot of names being thrown around. Judge Carol Weimer is the presiding judge in the Mustafa Al Jazari case. For the past 2 years, he has not been impartial. And in light of the body cams and the discovery that we are releasing on the internet, we can prove that Judge Carol Weimer have not been impartial. The witnesses, Amy Hodgkins, Glenn Ford, Kylie Clapp, Kim Coleman, we have their body cams, and we have other exhibits and evidence to show that they lied about Mustafa. And through this podcast, we're going to show this community how the police department is allowing these individuals to manufacture probable cause. Now, Mustafa Al Jazari has been held in solitary confinement for the past 2 years. Mustafa Al Jazari, in our effort to talk about what they've been doing to Mustafa and how they falsified his police reports, they've beat Mustafa. They sexually assaulted Mustafa, correctional officer inside our county jail, Prince William County Adult Detention Center. Have denied Mustafa medical. Mustafa is held in our county jail without a pretrial. They suspended his pretrial, his preliminary hearing. You're entitled to a preliminary hearing, but in Mustafa's case, they suspended it. How could you be charged someone without having a preliminary hearing? They suspended his preliminary hearing. Mustafa sits in a county jail for the past 2 years without a trial, without a preliminary hearing, and the evidence that shows that he's innocent, the prosecutor and the police department, with the help of Judge Carol Weimer, are blocking Mustafa from putting it on the record. They say for the past 2 years that this dash camera does not have audio. But it does have audio. And they went as far as say, if we get a lip reader. They've lied. They have no lip reader. I have the recording in the proceeding that the prosecutor said, if I get a lip reader. She doesn't have a lip reader. The question is, why would you need a lip reader? When we open the discovery, there's a document in the discovery that says Officer Zymus with digital forensic. She says in a document that the audio capability is on, and the audio is on the SD card. Now, Mustafa is entitled to have the audio to this dash camera. You can literally hire a independent expert, go in, and then take the audio and put it on the record. They're blocking that effort. The police mechanic inspected the vehicle, and they found out brake failure, mechanical failure, transmission failure. By law, you're supposed to be able to hire an independent expert, go in, inspect the vehicle, and have a written report. The prosecutor, the police department, with the help of this judge, they're blocking that effort. It's been 2 years. How hard is it to have an independent expert to inspect the vehicle and get the audio? They're terrified to have Mustafa's evidence on their record. For a prosecutor that screams Mustafa is guilty in court, why are you terrified of his evidence? Now, she's terrified of his dash camera. She sealed off the dash camera from the community. You say Mustafa is guilty? Well, ma'am, release the dash camera. It's been 2 years, and they've released a 5-second clip, a deform. They cut up this dash camera. They pieced it together for 5 seconds, and they released only 5 seconds. Why not release the full dash camera and let the community decide? We have, unfortunately for this prosecutor, we now have the dash camera, and we get to talk about it, leak it on the internet, and we're watching this dash camera, and it shows it's a vehicle accident. There is no argument inside the vehicle. They claim there's an argument. There is no argument. This is a vehicle accident, and we're going to take a deep dive into all of it. On that note, I want to thank Mary Jo. Beautiful, beautiful Mary Jo. She drove just about an hour all the way from Arlington to here to be on this podcast. Mary Jo, thank you for being here, ma'am.
Oh, thank you for having me. No problem.
I want to thank everybody on the group chat, Char, Shelly, Stefana, Casey, Tracy, and everybody that's going to be joining us on this podcast for being here. I want to thank everybody that's tuning in to our podcast. And before we take a deep dive into all of it, Mary Jo got me something very beautiful. She got me, I built a reputation protesting for my brother barefooted for the past 2 years. And from this protest, I was literally protesting barefoot in front of the jail. That I coined the term that a barefooted monkey is fighting for his brother. Mary Jo got me a monkey. Now, throughout this podcast, this is going to talk to you about what they've done to Mustafa and what they've done to Mustafa's brother and how they falsified Mustafa's brother. This barefooted monkey literally has all the discovery, has all the body cams, and is leaking it actively on the internet. Now you have a whole entire county come after a barefooted monkey. Now, we also have another beautiful character. I don't know the term beautiful. I think that's the wrong choice of word once you know who I'm talking about.
Beauty's in the eye of the whatever.
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. We have this character. This is Amy Hodgkins, the witness into Mustafa's case that know everything but didn't see anything. Literally, we have her body cam. And she is sitting there telling this investigator, painting Mustafa as a monster. But she tells him, I didn't see anything. What is this? Ursula? What is it from The Mermaid? Ursula from The Mermaid. Now, at one point, so once you see what she looks like and who she is and the way we talk about her, you're going to start identifying Amy Hodgkins as this character. Now, Amy Hodgkins like to identify herself. We find her online as identifying herself as Christina Alkuzai. She says, my name is Christine Alkuzai. On TikTok, every day she goes live and she trolls the conversation. And she says that her name is Christine Alkuzai. You can easily find her on TikTok under Christine Warda 7. See if I can pull up her. There we go. This is her TikTok. One day, she'll never turn on her camera, by the way. But one day, TikTok is unique because if you don't turn on your camera, but you come close enough, you'll see that person's face. One day just popped up. Now, if you see the resemblance, the more you listen to what Amy Hodgkins, a.k.a. Christine Alkuzai, says, you'll understand why we chose this character for her. This is, she likes to tell people this is what she looks like. Now, she never turns on her camera. You don't have to take my word for it that this is a cartoon character, heavily filtered. I mean, I've seen people filter their face, but I've never seen someone filter a cartoon. Why would you filter a cartoon? You don't have to listen to... This is a cartoon character, but she tells people this is what she looks like. Now, does this look like this? No. This is what she looks like, actually. One day she popped up, and this is... So this is Amy Hodgkins, and we have her... Oh, yes, ma'am. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So you have shown, though, because it does lead up to a point. You have shown what she really looks like compared to what she's catfishing people with,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
So she's telling people that this is what she looks like. Okay.
That is an important part of what...
Joe has been on her side and attempted to have a conversation right before she began to ask her questions, and Amy Hodgkins, aka Christina Alcazar, began to threaten her with posting her kids online. And Mary Jo, I'll let you talk about your experience and what you've seen and what we're doing here.
Okay, first, I was not one that she threatened to post children of.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just want, yeah. Oh, but she's done it to so many other people that does come to a good point. That some of the people that are with her,
Yeah.
I've personally had a couple reach out, and like I said before, we're not like her. It's going a little bit too far, and then one says, I'm sorry that it's going this route. It's not
Yes, ma'am.
what it started all about, and I'll leave that alone. They whatever.
Well, Mary Jo,
So
I
her
have,
character-
I have a live. Well, you were on there, and right after you got off, you have an individual while she's on there. She says that person says if I find you over there, I'm gonna post it back up. What is he talking about? I'm gonna play that real quick.
It's
This is Christine Alcazar, Amy Hodgkins under Joe Schmo, and you'll hear her talk. You'll hear Kate0707, the wife of an investigator who falsified Mustafa's police report. We have her body cam. And then you have other individuals on here, and one of them is so comfortable threatening Mary Jo that if I find you over there or asking questions, I'm going to post it back up. And I assume it was your kids. I mean, Mary Jo, what is he talking about?
It was harassing me and making fun of me. They had come into one of my lives, and I had dropped my phone. I was doing quite a few things at one time while trying to be live. I had dropped my phone, and then I'm in the basement, and I have rafters.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Instead of having a ceiling up, it's got rafters. So I hang things from from the rafters.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that lady, Christine decided to say, and you can tell it's her. She said, "Well, I almost feel sorry for her." And then somebody said something about walls. But the big thing that stuck out was, I almost feel sorry for her. They were making fun of me.
So they beat you up. They beat you up, and then they feel sorry for you.
They felt sorry for me while they were beating me up. I mean, it's right. How does it passive aggressive? So anyway, that's what brought the attention. So they had made a video about me because when I was live, whoever he is came in and said, "So you support a child murderer?" And at the moment, they caught me vulnerable, and I did cry. I cried in that live. Excuse me. So that's the video they're talking about, is the one that's making horrible fun of me, talking about my house, which, by the way, I don't care if this needs to be said, I'm gonna say it.
Yes, ma'am.
The story
Mary
behind
Jo?
yes.
Miss Fergie wants to give you a hug. So before you leave, make sure you go next door and give Miss Fergie a hug.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
just
So-
context to what Shelly. I'm glad you brought that up, and we're gonna listen to the audio. We have our neighbor on this live, and it's trolling the Mustafa Al Jazari case. It's trolling the family, all the way down to my 40-year-old niece. What they're doing is they're posting pictures of my 40-year-old niece. They're posting pictures of every individual that is here on a group chat and fighting for Mustafa. And if God help you, if you ask questions. I mean, this poor lady is asking questions about the Mustafa Al Jazari case, and here you have her being threatened. On that note, let me. Yes, ma'am.
Finish about my
Yes,
ceiling
ma'am.
real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
So they were making fun of me, talking about they feel sorry for me, but here's the true story, and I'll go back. Anyway, my dad pulled the ceiling down because he was going to do whatever the hell, I don't even know anymore. He thought he was going to home improvements, right? So he got track lighting put into the ceiling or into the rafters, and then he died. Okay,
I'm
so
sorry to
that's
hear
why
that.
there's no ceiling. I know that's okay. Thank
Okay.
you. But the whole point of is they go making fun, don't even have a clue as to what in the they just made fun of. So there's a reason. I'm not putting a ceiling up, well, for one, not to make anybody talk less. There's a reason why it's like that. I will never have a ceiling because my dad passed before he could get it. Besides that, you can't hang cool shit the way I am if you got the ceiling.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, alright, so it was the video ripping me up, and that's when I was like, you know what, just go ahead. I don't even care. So with the pictures and that, I want to get to a point real quick. we are going to discuss real fast about, or not even fast. We are going to discuss on the fact of the day of the accident.
Yes.
It is being led to believe from the other side. They are leading people to believe that Mustafa is the one that said the children could not go, that it was Dorothy and Empress only. Rest in peace.
Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, you have, even if it's 10 people minimum in her chat live, or if it's 100, you have all these people hearing her, was the word narrative,
Yeah.
her narrative, and that is that Mustafa said these children cannot go.
Yes.
That's not true. So we need to show everybody that that is not true. And then that might pump the brakes for other people to stop and say, wait a minute. You know, I was led, like me, I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
led to believe that Mustafa's the one
Yep.
that said them children could not go. So
Yes, ma'am.
there is your lines of pre what?
Exactly. So what Mary Jo was talking about is you have Christine Alcuzai, aka Amy Hodgkins, who's on a body cam as a witness, but she doesn't tell people that online. And the minute that you address it, she will go into private. Her account is literally on private. The minute that you shed light on it, what she's trolling the conversation and is telling people that on the day of the accident that this is premeditated murder, and it specifically is premeditated murder because Mustafa is the one that was angry at Dorothy, angry at 5-year-old Empress, and is the one that wanted to put them in the vehicle, and on that day only to crash the vehicle on purpose. And he's the one that told the boys to stay home. Now that's not true. Now we have a Google Nest inside the apartment. 3 days of worth of Google Nest. Where in one of the Google Nest, you see that Dorothy is the one that tells Empress to go with her. Dorothy is the one that wanted to go to the cemetery that day. It's her mom's anniversary, and she wants to pay her respect at the gravesite. It's Dorothy that wanted to go. Dorothy is the one that's asking 5-year-old Empress. Dorothy is the one that's asking the boys, and the boys say no. Mustafa wakes up late. By the way, we have a Google Nest that literally on the Google Nest, that's what you see. We're going to play that in 2 seconds. One of the forensic interview of Dorothy's 9-year-old child, he says literally in a forensic interview, it was Mama's idea that wanted to go. Now, the prosecutor and this troll on the internet, the prosecutor is charging Mustafa with murder. They're charging Mustafa with murder, premeditated murder. Specifically, in court, the prosecutor says this is premeditated murder. Mustafa had planned this out, and on that day, it was his idea to go to the cemetery. It was Mustafa's idea to put Dorothy in the car. He's the one that wanted Dorothy in the car. He's the one that told 5-year-old Empress to be in the car. He's the one that told the boys to stay. That's not true. How could you charge Mustafa with premeditated murder? How could you charge Mustafa with premeditated murder if it's Dorothy's idea that wanted to go? But the prosecutor is terrified now that there is a Google Nest that's coming out that shows that Mustafa woke up tired and it's Dorothy's idea that wanted to go. The prosecutor is terrified at the forensic interview that shows Dorothy's 9-year-old child say it was Mama's idea. The problem here is the forensic interview is sealed off from the community. This prosecutor, this Commonwealth attorney, the prosecutor, they went to a judge, Judge Carol Weimer, and they got a judge order to seal off the forensic interview. Now, that's a problem because when you read the written reports from this forensic interview, nowhere in this written report, in the forensic interview, does it say that Pharaoh is talking about it was Mama's idea. They're attempting to get away with this. They think the body cam is sealed, the forensic interview video is sealed, and they can only go by the written part. And literally, it's missing out of the written part. That's a falsified police report. And not in a million years did they expect that this is going to get leaked on. They're in trouble. They're terrified. Let's watch. Yes, ma'am. Let's watch the Google Nest inside the apartment where literally Dorothy is telling Empress that she wants to go on that day. And then we're going to watch the forensic interview where Dorothy's child, Pharaoh, her 9-year-old child, is saying that was mom's idea. This is April 5th, the day of the vehicle accident, at 12:29 p.m.
With me, just see Grandma, because you're going with me. Just see Grandma.
You're going with me to see Grandma. This is Dorothy.
Because you're going with me. Just see Grandma.
And she's talking, Mary Jo, she's talking to 5-year-old Empress.
Let it play all the way.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll...
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're going with me. Just see Grandma for her birthday.
I have an idea. Do you want to give Grandma your flowers?
That's what I'm going to give her the pink flowers out there that light up.
So you were going to give her that one?
Can everybody see it? I have it on here too. Can y'all see? Can y'all see the video? Or can y'all see the video? You see the video? Is there anybody get a little bit see what they're looking at?
You want to get it closer?
Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that better? I'm gonna rewind
You
it.
better catch up.
Yeah. I'm gonna rewind it. There we go.
Because you're going with me. Just see Grandma for her birthday.
Mine's
I have an idea. Do you want to give Grandma your flowers?
That's what I'm going to give her the pink flowers out there that light up.
So you were going to give her that one?
How come we don't hear nothing?
It's quiet at the moment, but we're letting it play so nobody can say there was a pause, skip, nothing. Yeah.
That's weird. Pharaoh, are you coming with me to the cemetery? It's Grandma's birthday today. If you don't want to, you can sit here. I don't care. I just want to do it. No, I don't care. Empress, get your shoes on. Thank you.
Hold on. Mom?
So I got a ceramic tent, 35.
Mary Jo.
Yes.
Mom asked Empress. Mom asked Pharaoh. And mom asked Empress to put on her shoes. I mean, does this not contradict the narrative of this is the prosecutor tells the community that this is premeditated, specifically that Mustafa's idea, that he's the one that forced Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress in the vehicle only to crash it later. Now, premeditated. She's charging Mustafa premeditated. Specifically, it was Mustafa's idea on that day. Mustafa is asleep. Mustafa is sleeping, and you'll hear Dorothy's child, Pharaoh, in a forensic interview, tell the forensic lady on a video that Mustafa woke up late, and mom is the one that wanted to go. She asked me, and I said, I don't want to go. I mean, Mary Jo, you've been on the other side, and literally they're telling people the opposite. I mean, if this is not trolling the conversation, I don't know what trolling the conversation is. I mean, literally, this video is on the internet and is circulating over the internet. And the longer it goes on, more people are watching it. I mean, right now, the prosecutor is terrified. I mean, it's been 2 years. Would you be shocked to know that we were at the Commonwealth Attorney Office and are attempting to give her the Google Nest on day one, and she kicked us out of the office?
What?
She threatened us. Ma'am, she threatened us with an arrest. We gave it to Mustafa's defense attorney, Casey Stevens, the one that stole our money, the one that protected the investigator who falsified the police report, and then later we found out that he has a relationship with this investigator. I've got him literally on a body cam where he's conspiring against Mustafa. That defense attorney stole over $55,000 from us. That defense attorney hit my mother in court, and the police refused to bring criminal charges. We gave him these Google Nest. It's been 2 years. Why are they refusing to put the Google Nest on there? Why are they terrified that there's a Google Nest? You want to say that this is premeditated. You want to say that it was Mustafa's idea, that he's the one that planned this out and put Dorothy and Empress on that day only to... Well, this is a Google Nest that shows you otherwise.
That's why we're doing this tonight.
Yes, ma'am. I love you.
That's why we're doing this.
You know, Mary Jo is from the community. She drives a whole hour here to get to the bottom of it. She's been on the other side, and she sat there and listened to them, only to be attacked when she's asking questions. Let's listen to what they said to her when she asked questions.
Well,
I mean, the poor
finish
lady.
this first.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
We can go back to that all day
Well,
long.
yes, ma'am.
We need-
Let's watch. Yes, ma'am.
That's why, was that the whole video?
That's
Or was-
the portion that show. By the way, the
That's
Google
what he
Nest.
said you're
Yes, ma'am.
not going.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The Google Nest is 3 days of Google. I have 3 days of Google Nest inside the apartment. That when you watch the videos inside the apartment, you see that Mustafa has a beautiful relationship with Dorothy and the kids. The kids love Mustafa. Dorothy love. I mean, in one of the videos, you literally see Empress, 5-year-old Empress, chasing after Mustafa, trying to put a Band-Aid on him. Of course, the prosecutor is terrified that this Google Nest is popping up on the internet.
With this video.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you rewind back to where, or if you can.
Yes, ma'am.
Back to where Dorothy, just to where she tells Empress to get her shoes on, and then,
Yes, ma'am.
so we can hear it one more time.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody that is listening, it gets heard one more time.
ma'am.
Who states what?
Yes, ma'am. And then, yes, ma'am. And that's perfect. And then we'll play the forensic interview with Pharaoh. Okay.
Right, 20 on the front doors.
And then at break time, while we go take our break,
That
they
works.
can listen
That
to
works.
the one ripping me up.
That works.
Because you're going with me to see Grandma for her birthday.
So this is the part where she says to 5-year-old Empress, "You're going with me to go see Grandma."
Pink flowers out there that
And then if you notice, she talks about pink flowers. Dorothy bought those plastic flowers, the solar flowers that last longer at the gravesite. Now, this becomes relevant later because when the investigator talks to Mustafa, that Muhammad literally has a recording of. Muhammad recorded, my other brother recorded that conversation. This investigator is pretending that he doesn't know what Mustafa is talking about because Mustafa is telling him about, he's asking him what happened. Mustafa is replying to him. And at one point in the recording, this becomes relevant because the investigator who says he saw the dash camera, who lies about the content of the dash camera, says there is no pink flowers. When literally in the dash camera, you see Dorothy when she gets into the vehicle, she's holding flowers. She's literally talking about the pink flowers. That becomes relevant in a later conversation.
So you were gonna do that one?
So, Mary Jo, I'm going to fast forward to the part that you're asking me to, okay?
I don't care.
This is the part where Dorothy is asking Empress, her 9-year-old child, the boy, to go with her.
Pharaoh, are you coming with me to the cemetery? It's Grandma's birthday today. If you don't want to, you stay here. I don't care. I just want to go. No, I don't care. Empress, get your shoes on.
Alright,
Thank you.
hold on.
Okay. So that goes against the narrative of the prosecutor. How could this be premeditated, Mary Jo? I mean, that's what they're charging Mustafa, murder. And it's premeditated specifically on that day. It was Mustafa's idea that he wanted Dorothy and Empress to be in the vehicle, only to crash it. How could this be premeditated if it's Dorothy's idea? That's a big problem, right?
Oh, big.
Big problem.
It's like, well, I mean, that's why I asked you, if we played 1,000 times a day to make sure
Yep.
people understand she is.
Yep.
He did not tell them children they could not go. No, he did not. No, he did not tell them children they could not go.
Now,
You weren't even there. She told them. And she asked her son, asked her, do you want to go? She laid it out as his choice at that moment and told Empress, get your shoes on, because she's going, for sure.
that contradicts the narrative.
All the way. All
And
the way.
right now, the
All
prosecutor
the way.
is in big trouble. Man, the prosecutor is in big trouble because she can't now. What are you going to say? You're literally lying to the community. You're literally, for the past 2 years, I'll tell you what they've done for the past 2 years. Originally, they charged Mustafa with manslaughter. Now, how did they charge Mustafa with manslaughter? Originally, that was Mustafa's charges. 2 years later, now it's upgraded to murder. But how did it become murder? Now, I'll tell you, when the vehicle accident happened, on dash camera, it shows it's a vehicle accident. But what did they do? They sealed off the dash camera. The community did not have access to the dash camera. They're literally telling the community there's an argument inside the vehicle, and they seal off the dash camera. You're supposed to believe what we tell you. Literally, that was the stand of the police department and the prosecutor. Well, now,
He told the public.
Yes, ma'am.
that-
yes, ma'am. Now that the dash camera is out, you can't lie that there is an argument inside the vehicle. Originally, what they've done is they said there is an argument inside the vehicle. The investigator falsified Mustafa's statement on the police report.
And that has been acknowledged.
That has been
By
fixed.
the police and chief. Police and
Yes,
chief.
ma'am.
Chief of police.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We had my other brother Muhammad literally recorded the phone call conversation with the investigator, and this investigator in his police report had put that Mustafa told him, "I was arguing inside the vehicle with Dorothy. I was angry at Dorothy inside the vehicle." Those statements are falsified. Mustafa never said that. Now, we have an audio. We took it to Internal Affairs. They ran an investigation, and we got a letter from the chief of police admitting that they falsified the police report. Now we have the audio. You know, Mary Jo, our trolls will they say the letter that you got from Internal Affairs doesn't specifically say that the investigator falsified the police report. They say that we acknowledge there is police misconduct. But Mary Jo, my complaint with Internal Affairs is very specific. My complaint that was being investigated is that this investigator had falsified my brother police report. In his police report, he said that my brother said I was arguing inside the vehicle. I was angry at Dorothy inside the vehicle. My brother never said that. I have a recording that showed that this investigator falsified my brother police report. That's a very detailed complaint. And I got a letter replying to my complaint that this investigator has been investigated and they found police misconduct. Now, the Commonwealth Attorney came on the news and issued a statement. She said, we were already aware of the investigator falsifying the police report. Now, we literally have a recording. They can't run away. Now, originally, what they've done is they charged my brother with manslaughter. How did they get away with charging my brother with manslaughter? My brother Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. He was in a coma. When he woke up, he's in the hospital. They ran a toxicology. His blood, no alcohol, no drugs. To be charged with manslaughter, there has to be negligence on your side to be charged with manslaughter. He's not speeding. No alcohol, no drugs. He's not reckless. The only way they got away with charging him with manslaughter is because they falsified his statements on the police report. They said that you were arguing. You said you were arguing. They hide your dash camera so no one can verify. And they falsify your statement. So they charge him with manslaughter. I have the warrant. The warrant is falsified. The police report is falsified. Now, Mary Jo, the minute that we took this recording to Internal Affairs, 5 days after Internal Affairs, First Sergeant Sean Shelton called the Commonwealth Attorney and told her the investigator had falsified the statements, Mustafa's statements. And 5 days after that conversation, the Commonwealth Attorney dropped the manslaughter and upgraded the charges to murder. And now it's premeditated. And now they're saying it was Mustafa's idea to go to the cemetery. It was Mustafa's idea to put Dorothy in the car. It was Mustafa's idea to put 5-year-old Empress in the car. And that's the new narrative they're going with.
They can't wait. That's why we're going to continuously push this and show the truth.
Yes, ma'am. So they retaliate against you having evidence that they lied, and now it's premeditated, and we literally have a Google Nest for the past 2 years, and they look the other way. I mean, how could you charge Mustafa with premeditated if literally that goes against your narrative? Specifically, Mustafa put her in the vehicle, Mustafa put 5-year-old Empress, and he crashed the vehicle on purpose. That's not true. The Google Nest shows otherwise. It was Dorothy's idea. Now, Mary Jo, I have a forensic interview that they're sealing off. In a forensic interview, you hear Dorothy's 9-year-old child, say that mom is the one that wanted to go. Mustafa woke up late. He didn't want to go anywhere. And mom asked me, and I decided to stay home. That forensic interview is sealed off by the county. The written report is falsified. You'll never hear Empress say that. It's sealed off. So the evidence that showed that Mustafa is innocent, they seal it off. I mean, it's a miracle that we have the forensic interview. It's a miracle that we have this Google Nest, that we can actually prove that they're lying about Mustafa. Now, on that note, the way we're going to organize this podcast, every about half an hour, we're going to take a break. Now, when we come back, we're going to watch the forensic interview that show exactly what we watch in the Google Nest. 9-year-old Pharaoh, Dorothy's child, he literally says Mustafa woke up late and it's mom that wants to go. So the question is, how could this be premeditated? Specifically what the prosecutor says, it was Mustafa's idea, that Mustafa is the one that wanted mom, Dorothy, to go. It was Mustafa's idea that put 5-year-old Empress in the car. It's Mustafa's idea that left the boys at home. How could that be? How could it be premeditated? This is proof that this prosecutor is lying about Mustafa. And now they're in a position that they're terrified. They're terrified of this podcast. Mary Jo, you have a whole county coming after me on the 26th. On the 26th, they're coming after me for me talking about my brother. They seal off the body cam. They seal off the discovery. And instead of addressing the content of the police misconduct, every police report is falsified. And now I have the body cams to prove it. And instead of addressing the content of your police misconduct, you want to silence the brother that's fighting for his brother? And the minute that you talk about what is going on, they're going to post your kids all over the internet? I mean, Mary Jo is literally was threatened to not ask questions. And they're doing it to everybody. I've got almost 10 people that's here for Mustafa that have their kids all over the internet posted. My 4-year-old niece is posted on the internet. Now, when we come back, we're going to watch this forensic interview, and we're going to take a deep dive into the rest of the body cams.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed. Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems. You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case. All right. So make sure everybody's aware of that.
Is it?
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed. Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems. You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case. All right. So make sure everybody's aware of that. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed. Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems. You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case. All right. So make sure everybody's aware of that. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed. Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case. if you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copy copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that.
But not only is Mustafa checked this one out, like
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that.
gunshot wound, and that keeps going off in my head.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay?
But these other people, like you said, inside.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay?
We are back. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Amy Hodgkins, aka Christine Alcuzai, Glenn Ford, Kylie Clapp, Kim Coleman, aka Nini. Those individuals that lied about Mustafa under the microscope. Now, in light that we have their body cams and we have the discovery, we can take a deep dive and look into how they lied about Mustafa. Now, I want to thank everybody for being here. Shelly, Char, Casey, Tracy. I want to thank Mary Jo for being here. Hello. And this is a beautiful way into organizing the podcast. Every half an hour, we'll take a break because this is a long podcast. There's a lot of details, and it's all in the details. Now we can choose to troll the conversation or sit here and have an actual conversation. I mean, we have the body cams, the discovery documents that the county sealed for the past 2 years. And now that we have them, we can get to the bottom of this and find out why have they lied about Mustafa for 2 years. Every police report is falsified. You know, Mary Jo was telling me while we were on a break, she was telling me I can't get the body cam of Tatiana David out of my head. Her body is getting dragged out of a vehicle after she got shot by Prince William County and state police and repositioned somewhere. She said, I can't take that out of my head. Now, there is a common practice in Prince William County. Every time you have police misconduct, they seal off the body cam. This is not an isolated incident in our county. The Mustafa Al-Jazari case, the Tatiana David case, the 18-year-old Juan Campos case, and the other files that we will start publicizing. Every time you have a police misconduct, you're going to seal off the body cams? Where is the accountability? Now, we're going to go back into the forensic interview. We said that when we're back, we're going to look at the forensic interview. Mary Jo, they're specifically saying, the prosecutor is saying that Mustafa is charged with murder, premeditated. Specifically, it was his idea to put Empress in the vehicle only to crash it. We just watched, before the break, the Google Nest inside the apartment that you literally see Dorothy is the one that wanted to go. Dorothy is the one that's asking Empress to go. Dorothy is the one that's asking the boys. And the boys wants to stay home. Now, what we're going to watch now is we have a forensic interview of Dorothy's 9-year-old child. And in that interview, you literally hear Pharaoh, Dorothy's 9-year-old child, tell the forensic lady with the police department that it was mom that wanted to go. Mustafa woke up late. He didn't want to go anywhere. And it was mom's idea. Mary Jo, let's watch that forensic interview. Yes, ma'am.
And I lived with my mom and my little sister and my mom. boyfriend.
So you said your brother, your other brother, your mom, your little sister, is that what you said? Little sister.
Most people have no clue that in 2024, the best way to make money with Amazon is
Mary
not
Jo,
by
I
being
hate
a bot.
commercials. I hate
What
commercials.
happened? Yeah, his
Okay,
name
all right.
is Moses.
Boyfriend. And his name's Moses. Moses. Okay. Let's see. So we have you. What's your brother's name?
Imagine.
Imagine. Okay. And your other brother's name?
Caveman.
Jaden. And your mom's name?
People call her a whole bunch of names, but the one I like the most is her nickname that her mom and her brothers used to call her Joey.
Joey?
Yeah, it's her nickname.
Okay, Joey. Okay, and your little sister?
Empress.
Empress. Okay, and you said your mom's boyfriend is named Moses?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, and these are the people that you live with, is that right?
Yeah, well, I don't live with my mom and my sister anymore.
Okay, so what happened there?
Well, they died in a car crash.
They died in a car crash?
Mhm.
Okay. When was the last time that you saw your mom and your little sister?
2 days ago, she was planning on going to her grandma's and then driving around for doing other stuff. She didn't know, but yeah, I decided to stay home because I didn't want to go.
I decided to stay home.
Okay.
You heard, Mary Jo, you heard that part?
2 days ago, let's talk about what happened 2 days ago, okay? So think back about 2 days ago, the last time you saw them, okay? Tell me everything you remember about that day. Everything from the very beginning until the last thing that you remember about that day. What happened?
So I woke up and I was planning on going with Moses to get one of the new games that he said he would get me that day, but mom wanted, but he was too tired to, and also mom wanted him to come with, but he didn't want to come, so they got into a fight for a little while. Then Moses went, and David and my $12 because we have this whole big plan to have enough money to debt the dam, and then a couple minutes later, a couple hours later, Top showed up around our house, so we tried to tell mom and them, but they didn't answer. And then the Tops eventually went away, and they still didn't answer. But then Moses came back with blood on him in a hospital outfit, and told us to get our shoes on to go to our neighbor's house, which is also our mom's best friend's house.
Okay. So you gave me a lot of information here, okay? So I want to ask you some questions about that day, okay? So you said you woke up. Do you remember what time you woke up?
No, I don't really look at the time when I wake up.
Was it in the morning? Was it in the afternoon or something?
I just know that it was pretty bright.
It was pretty bright? Okay. Yeah. So when you woke up, it was bright outside. And you said that you were going to go with Moses to get a game. Is that right? A video game.
For my Switch.
For your Switch. And you said that you gave him $12 for the video game, is that
No,
right?
this is how much I had.
Because that's how much you had.
The game was $70, but I had 2 other games I was gonna trade in with the $12, and then he was gonna pay the extra 20 so we could get the game.
Okay. So when you woke up, you said that you were gonna go to go with Moses to get the game.
Yeah, since he decided to go with Mom and said that we would have the game tomorrow, I just handed him the $12 and told him why he's out there to get the game.
Okay. So tell me what he was going to do with your mom instead. You said that instead of going to get the game, he was going to do something with your mom. What was
They were gonna go visit my mom's grave so that because it was her birthday, it was my mom's birthday, so. And then they were gonna go somewhere else they didn't know where and just do something. And me and Imagine and Jim decided to stay home while her and Empress went with him to go to Grandma's grave.
And how did you know that it was how did you know that they were going to your grandma's grave?
Because they said.
Who said?
My mom.
Your mom said?
You're
And
the,
whose
my
idea
mom.
was it to go
He
to
said
your
my mom.
grandma's grave?
My mom.
Your mom
Because
did?
it was her birthday.
Because it was your grandma's birthday, is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. And you said that you and Imagine and Javon decided you would stay, is that right?
Yeah.
And who decided that?
Well, we decided my mom was okay with it.
Okay. And what was the very next thing that happened?
You may think that an adult that can't stop watching the P word looks something like this, but this is what.
Well, a couple hours later, the top showed up around our house. We tried to tell our mom, and she didn't answer. So we texted her and told her what. But then eventually they went away, and we tried to tell her one more time, but she didn't answer. So, but then a couple hours later, or a couple minutes later, Moses with his family showed up and said to put our shoes on and to go to our mom's friend's house, and my mom's friend is named Nini.
Is named Nini?
Yeah.
Okay. So earlier, and I need you to correct me if I get something wrong, okay? You said something about Moses and your mom got into a fight. Is that correct?
Yeah, because he didn't want to go, so he got really mad at her.
Okay. Tell me more about him getting.
What is the content? There was a fight. What is the content of the fight? He didn't want to go. He woke up. Pharaoh says he woke up. He woke up late. Me and Mustafa, we had plans to go buy a game. I had $12, and Mustafa was going to pay for the rest of it. And Mom wanted to go, so he went with her. That it's Mom that wanted to go. That Pharaoh, Imagine, and Javen decided to stay. I mean, we literally watched a Google Nest. Where Mom is asking Pharaoh, and Pharaoh says, I want to go. I want to stay home. Mom is the one that wants to go. Mustafa woke up late. He had plans with Pharaoh that he was going to go buy him a game. What is the content of the fight? Yeah, he didn't want to go. I mean, by the way, Mary Jo, this is not in the forensic interview. The written report has been falsified. You will never hear Pharaoh talk about these details. Instead, you have a forensic interview that's sealed, a written report that's falsified, and a prosecutor who screams in court that this is premeditated, specifically premeditated murder, specifically that it was Mustafa's idea that wanted to go. To put Dorothy in 5-year-old Empress. Your Honor! Mustafa was mad at Dorothy, was mad at 5-year-old Empress, that he chose that day to put them in a vehicle only to crash the vehicle on purpose. I mean, what are we talking about here? Mary Jo, what are we talking about here?
I'm not sure. They're full of shit. I know.
They're...
But I am just listening quietly so I can see if I see any kind of trigger on what the hell they're thinking, and it's not clicking.
Ma'am, they're flat out lying about Mustafa for the and the way they get away with lying by sealing off the material.
Yeah.
Let's continue listening.
Really mad at her. Well, they broke into a really bad fight because he got really mad that she was trying to force him to go. He didn't want to. So they were fighting for a couple hours.
She's forcing him to go. The content of the argument is she's forcing him to go. He had plans with me. He was gonna go buy me a game. He woke up late, and she's forcing him to go. I think we're beating a dead horse here.
No, keep beating it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Before he just decided to go.
What did you hear?
Well, I didn't really hear a lot because I was told to go in my room and go in my room with my brothers and sister, and while they were fighting, I was just watching Mario Odyssey movie on my PS5. But then my little sister got upset because she wanted to watch the TV. She told my mom, and my mom said to let her. So then I unplugged the PS5 since the Roku or the Fire Stick was still plugged in, but the Fire Stick wasn't working. So I tried to plug it into the projector, which was in my mom's room, but there was no volume. So a couple minutes later, I decided to just go put it back in the other room. And since my sister was on the phone, I decided to just hook up my PS5 to the TV. And then a couple minutes or hours later, they stopped fighting and they were going.
How did you know that they were fighting if you didn't hear what they were saying?
Because I heard them yelling still, because the movie wasn't too loud, but also because they were fighting in the living room.
And what did you hear them say?
Well, I don't remember fully because I was mostly in my room and not listening because I was just watching my movie.
Okay, and thank you for telling me that you don't remember. That's what I need you to tell me, okay? And what does it look like when they fight?
Well, they mostly just yell at each other.
Okay.
You heard what he just told her? What does it look like when mom and her boyfriend fight? They mostly yell at each other. You don't hear Pharaoh. I mean, the prosecutor is describing an abusive boyfriend. I mean, in court, she says Mustafa body slammed Dorothy. What does it look like when they're fighting? Oh, they mostly yell at each other. That's what Dorothy's 9-year-old child is saying. Now let's look into. By the way, we have the Google Nest inside the apartment. 3 days worth of Google Nest. That shows it's a beautiful relationship. But the prosecutor in court looks the other way, pretend there is no Google Nest, and says Mustafa body slammed Dorothy. Wait a minute. Do you know how big Dorothy is? Dorothy is bigger than Mustafa. I mean, physically, it can't be done. Mary Jo, physically, you cannot body slam Dorothy.
Don't test. No, I'm just
I mean, have you seen Dorothy? Have you seen Mustafa? You can't physically. Dorothy is bigger than Mustafa. Forget all that. We have the Google Nest inside the apartment. That shows it's a beautiful relationship.
How much longer is the...
Oh, it's almost over. Yes, ma'am.
Elevate your living space with the Saker Hidden Casters adjustable bedside table, a perfect blend of style and...
And then what was the next thing that happened?
Well, then they left to go.
Okay. Did they say something to you when they left?
I don't fully remember. Maybe they said that they were leaving. Maybe they said bye. I don't remember fully.
Okay, and that's okay if you don't remember. And then you said that you tried to call your mom because the cops came. And was it still light outside when the cops came? Or?
No, it was pretty dark.
It was pretty dark. When did the cops come?
It wasn't fully night.
Virgil, I'm gonna pause it right here.
Okay.
Pharaoh is talking about the police showing up at the apartment. Now, at the time when the vehicle accident happened, the police showed up and knocked on the door. At that point, Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. Mustafa was in a coma. Mustafa wakes up from a coma. He's in the hospital. Now, while that situation was happening, we have a door camera where it shows the police show up at the apartment. We're going to play that portion. Now, pay attention to Pharaoh, Imagine, and Javen. Dorothy's 9-year-old, Dorothy's 10-year-old, Dorothy's 14-year-old rush to the door. The Google Nest is set up in a way that it's linked up to your cell phone, it's linked up to Dorothy's cell phone, and it's linked up to Mustafa's cell phone. It's a video system that you can communicate through video, through voice and text. So when the police showed up, pay attention to who is the first person they reach out to. And you'll see in this video that the first thing that comes out of the kid's mouth is, Moses, the police are here. They didn't say mom. The person, they trusted Mustafa more than they trusted their own mother. That the first thing they said, Moses, the police are here. And then said, Mom, the police are here. Look, let's watch the video.
Moses, the cops are here. The cops are here. Cops are here. Moses, the cops are here. The cops are here. Mom, the cops are here. Alice. It's outside.
At that point, Mustafa was being helicoptered to the hospital. Mustafa's in a coma. He wakes up. He's in the hospital. But when you pay attention to the kids, you want to talk. The prosecutor is claiming that Mustafa is abusive to Dorothy and the kids. I mean, here we have a Google camera. When the police showed up, the first thing the kids will run to is Mustafa. I mean, we're talking about kids. If these kids feared Mustafa, they wouldn't be the first thing they run to. It wouldn't be Mustafa. They say Mustafa and then Mom.
You can look and feel the trust that they...
Yes, ma'am.
The cops are here.
They're terrified. The prosecutor is terrified that this exists. That for 2 years she's avoiding the Google Nest videos. They want to troll this conversation. I mean, they either want to troll the conversation or have a conversation.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to offer anybody a conversation right now until we show this a couple more times.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
ma'am.
And then,
Yes, ma'am.
And then,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know,
Let's continue the forensic interview with Pharaoh. Because Pharaoh says a lot. That's Mom's idea. Mustafa didn't want to go. the content of the argument that Mustafa didn't want to go, but she's forcing me to go. So he goes with her. He's taking her to her mom's cemetery. It's her mom's anniversary. And she's paying her respects. So he decided to change plans and take her instead of buying a game for Pharaoh. You want to talk about this abusive man? He's buying a game for Pharaoh. And Pharaoh is so excited that her mom's boyfriend's buying him a game.
Yeah, I wrote that. I heard that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Writing notes and listening.
Yes, ma'am.
That's one thing that stood out was the fact that he said Mo's going to give me $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Or whatever. I have it written. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Near dark time, but it wasn't fully nighttime. It was like blue, there was like stars in the sky, but it was like blue black.
Oh, okay. So when your mom and Moses left, where were you when they left the house?
Well, when they were leaving, I gave him the $12 before, and once they stepped out of the house while I was in the living room too, I decided to just go back and watch my movie.
Okay. And where was everybody else when they left?
Oh, they were also in the room, or maybe some of them were in the living room and then went back to the room. I just remember once they left, everybody was in the room except for Empress, who was going too.
Okay. So where was, you said everybody else, so where was Imagine when?
He was in the room too.
Okay. And Javon?
Jim was just laying on my couch bed.
Okay. And you said Empress went with them?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
With Mochi Health,
So that's the forensic interview with Pharaoh, where he gives us a lot. He tells us a lot.
He does.
And that contradicts. The question is, how could this be premeditated? Specifically what the prosecutor says. The prosecutor, when he defined premeditated, it could be days before, it could be on the last minute. That's premeditated. But the prosecutor is specifically laying out the narrative. She said this is premeditated specifically. Mustafa planned this out. That on this day, he forced Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress, put them in a vehicle, told the boys to stay home because he hated the girls, only to crash the vehicle later. Now, we just watched a Google Nest that shows it's Dorothy's idea. We just watched a forensic interview that is Dorothy's idea. Pharaoh is literally telling you in a forensic interview. So how could this be premeditated? I think we're beating a dead horse here, man.
Keep on beating it.
That horse is not moving.
Keep on beating it.
It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years, man. Mustafa is in solitary confinement. With a covered window. In the process of us beating this dead horse and talking about these details, they've beat Mustafa. 6 giant correctional officers enter Mustafa's cell, beat him, deny him medical, and abuse him inside the jail. Mustafa was beaten, sexually assaulted, denied medical because of these lies.
Oh, quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you talked to him since he got bullied last night by
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes,
haven't
ma'am.
seen
I talked to
him?
him this morning.
Okay.
And they're harassing him with the phone.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, when we talked to Mustafa earlier, there was a correctional officer that was also harassing him over the phone.
Tonight too?
Earlier today.
Or today
Yeah.
too?
Mustafa, we're expecting a phone call from Mustafa. So we're waiting for him to join the conversation. But we're asking everybody to call into our Prince William County Adult Detention Center and ask to speak to Captain Powell. Captain Powell, and escalate it all the way to our sheriff, Sheriff Glenn Hill. Let the sheriff know that on his watch, there are correctional officers that are abusing an inmate. Mustafa Al-Jazari is being harassed over a phone? Why are they harassing him over a phone? I mean, 2 years ago, when we said Mustafa was beaten by correctional officer, they said it never happened. They told us nothing happened. Well, today, we have the CCTV for Sheriff Glen Hill, who pride himself that his jail facility is a hotel. Sheriff Glen Hill, Mary Jo, you're familiar with Sheriff Glen Hill. And this community, yes ma'am, this community takes pride that we have a black sheriff who's a Republican. But is that enough? Is that enough? We have 7 individuals that died in our county jail. Is it enough to have a black sheriff that's a Republican? Is that enough? Does he have a beautiful personality? Sure. If I didn't know what goes on inside his jail, I would say he's an amazing man. This is not personal. We're asking, why do you have 7 questionable deaths inside your county jail? That's a good question. Why do you have abusive correctional officers inside your jail? I mean, yesterday we were on a podcast, literally on a podcast. Mustafa is given the phone only to have another correctional officer harass him over the phone they gave him. I mean, is that normal? That's not normal.
No.
Can we ask the sheriff to look into his correctional officers? I mean, the mission statement for the jail is to keep a pretrial detainee safe until they get to their day in court. We're talking about pretrial detainees, innocent until proven guilty. Why is it that I have a CCTV of 6 correctional officers on May 24, 2023, go into my brother's cell only to take him out unconscious, handcuffed behind his back, half naked, and they're still hitting him on the head and kicking him. They take him to another cell, where they strip him completely naked, beat him more, and then sexually assault him. Where's our sheriff from his correctional officers? 2 years ago, when I went up to the sheriff, he told me nothing happened. He told me nothing happened. Well, here we are 2 years later, where I have a CCTV video where my brother is getting carried unconscious from one cell into another cell. Can we call in the sheriff and ask him, can we not have his correctional officers harass Mustafa over something as simple as a phone? I think we can do that. Right, Mary Jo? I think we can do that.
Well, we're going to do a day podcast and we'll call.
Yes, ma'am. That's actually a beautiful idea. Yes, it is. Where we can actually be on a podcast and have everybody call. And we're asking for something simple. I mean, I don't think it could be more this simple than just asking his correctional officer to not be harassing Mustafa, an inmate, over a phone. I mean, here's Mustafa, half naked, handcuffed behind his back, carried unconscious from one cell into another cell. I mean, his head is limped. Halfway through the video, you see his foot airlifted by 2 guards. And one of the guards is still hitting him on the head and kicking him. Only to take him somewhere else, another cell, strip him completely naked, sexually assault him. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Didn't they say there was a sled in his cell at that time?
Nothing justifies having 6 giant correctional officers taking you out unconscious. I don't care if the ceiling was falling apart. What justifies 6 giant correctional officer entering your cell, taking you out unconscious? You know, I know a lot of people like to troll the conversation. They're like, you're not seeing what we're seeing. My brother is getting carried unconscious. And they told me this never happened. I mean, I have a video, a very interesting video. And a lot of the individual here, Mary Jo, on the group chat have been with us since the beginning. They all remember when I got a bullhorn, went in front of the jail, and on that giant bullhorn, I said they beat my brother. They sexually assaulted my brother. My brother needs medical. 2 years ago, and the sheriff came out. And I had a very interesting conversation with the sheriff. I'm going to pull up the video. The sheriff, Mary Jo, the sheriff literally told me, this never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
I told you, that's word game. That's all word salad.
But we don't expect a sheriff to play word salad. We expect when you hear about a situation inside your jail, you address it. Give the man, send the man to the hospital. My brother, till today, has not seen a doctor. He has not x-rayed his injury. His injuries were not x-rayed. His arms are 3 times the size of a normal arm. He's got compound fracture. They are healing improperly. They have not x-rayed him. They have not taken him to the hospital. Why? What do you... No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They have not taken him to the hospital. They have not addressed his injuries. And they play a game where they send in a tactical transport of the same individuals that beat him, that sexually assaulted him, on a tactical transport. They're like, Mustafa, we're gonna take you to the hospital. I mean, Mary Jo, picture that you're in Mustafa's shoes, and they got done beating you, they got done abusing you, they got done denying you medical. All of a sudden, you have the same individuals that beat you, sexually assault you, tell you, Mary Jo, we're going to take you to a location. We're going to take you to the hospital, Mary Jo. The same ones. We're going to take you to the hospital. Would you go on that transport? Would you go on the transport?
I'd be scared shit. No, I want some. No, you gotta call someone else. Come with me. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. Okay, so be honest.
The kid is terrified. I wouldn't go. Oh my God, I would not go. I'd rather die right here than go with you. You just got done beating me. Yeah. You just got done sexually assaulting me, and you want to take me to where? That's what they're doing, Mary Jo. Mary Jo, that's what they're doing. Yeah. And they're trolling the conversation. They're like, oh, your brother denied medical. Fuck yeah, he's going to deny medical. He's terrified. But how easy is it for Sheriff Blunthill to have correctional officers that did not beat him and sexually assault him on that transport?
Right.
I mean, there are correctional officers in there that are nice to Mustafa. That built a report with Mustafa. Not all of them are bad.
Right, and we're never, at one point did we ever state that, just for the record on here too. We have never stated that all of them, we have just, unfortunately, this family has run across a couple rotten ones that it's going pretty deep. Well, it is deep. It's deep.
I will never come on here and say and tell you every correctional officer is bad. Every police officer is bad. No, I will never do that. There's a lot of correctional officers that are nice to my brother, that are doing their job, that are nice to, and they're taking care of inmates. They put on that uniform, and they take care of inmates. But there are bad apples. And we have 7 deaths in our county jail. And that has to be addressed. Everybody is a heartbeat from ending up in a county jail. I mean, the threshold for probable cause is so easy. I can go out on the weekend, get an altercation with someone. It's he said, whatever. And I'm sitting in a county jail. I'm like, I didn't do anything. And because my name is Omar, because I'm, and then, it's your word. I mean, it could happen. It could happen that you're sitting in a county jail screaming, I'm a pretrial detainee. I've got my day in court. And you're expected to make it into your day in court alive. Untouched. Not beaten. Not sexually assaulted. Not abused. You're in a county jail that's supposed to be safe. Literally, the mission statement is we're going to keep pretrial detainees safe until they get to their day in court. You're a pretrial detainee. The threshold is so low for probable cause.
Hey, Amar.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's not even mention some of the inmates that are in there because their family has came out and talked. They have been, I don't want to say beaten, but harassed, and because they are associated.
I'll tell you, Shelly. Why did I get arrested when I was protesting for my brother? I got arrested. I have a video, literally a video, of me peacefully exercising a First Amendment. I'm on public property. I'm literally standing there with that banner on public property. The minute I said Commonwealth Amy Ashworth on my banner, the minute I said Commonwealth Amy Ashworth allows a jail to murder inmates, within 5 minutes, Mary Jo, Commonwealth attorney comes out, looks out the window, waves at me. 5 minutes later, Sheriff Glenn Hill comes out with his deputies, puts me in handcuffs. I thought we have a First Amendment, Sheriff. I thought we entrusted you to protect our community. Not use that badge in the uniform to play politics. The minute Commonwealth Amy Ashworth feels sensitive enough that she's being attacked, you're going to mechanize the sheriffs against the person talking about corruption inside your jail? I mean, who is Amy Ashworth? Amy Ashworth is the Commonwealth attorney. But she also holds another role in our community, that she's on a board, and her job as a jail board member is the highest authority in the jail to protect inmates. If anything were to happen to this jail, anything were to happen to inmates, you would be referred to the jail board members. And if I can ask Casey to mute, because I think there's an echo. Thank you, ma'am. If anything were to happen, you would be referred to jail board members. And one of the members are Sheriff Glenn Hill, Chief of Police Peter Newsham, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, Human Rights Commission Raul Torres, along with other members. I think there is a 12 individuals. But the main ones that actually dictate what goes on in this body is the sheriff, the chief of police, and the Commonwealth attorney. And Raul Torres, whatever he says, no one cares. The Human Rights Commission. Now, outside looking in is great. We've got all this authority on this body that if something were to happen, we literally have the sheriff, the chief of police, and the Commonwealth attorney. They're going to do something to protect this jail. Well, that's not what actually happens. Because the sheriff, his hand is tied, because he's got correctional officer that's been there for so long that can literally blackmail the jail. There's so many beatings. We have 7 deaths. And they're all walking around with their cell phone. You honestly think this sheriff can hold those correctional officers accountable, ma'am? I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. Look at how much they're getting paid. $150,000 for being a correctional officer. I mean, if I didn't know any better, you're paying these people off. You're buying their silence. You can't reprimand them. You can't get rid of them. And here you are paying them the highest salary. I mean, I think they're getting paid more than police officers. $150,000 a year for being a correctional officer?
Yeah, police officers don't make that much money. They shouldn't.
Now, this is the sheriff. So every time you go to the sheriff, he can't do anything. The Commonwealth attorney, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, uses the jail to coerce inmate into taking her plea deal. Mary Jo, the Commonwealth attorney, is looking the other way from abuse inside the jail. So that way, when she gives you a plea deal, you're so desperate. I mean, you imagine you get beaten, you get sexually assaulted, you get denied medical, and by the time the Commonwealth attorney hands you a plea deal, you're begging for that plea deal. You think that Commonwealth attorney is going to address abuse inside that jail? No. It plays into her securing convictions. The chief of police. Yes, ma'am.
Forget to mention how they closed the board meetings for the public.
I mean, after we started going into the jail board meetings, there's no more public jail board meetings. Mary Jo, are you aware?
Are you serious?
Oh, yes, ma'am. We've documented this.
Shut that down too?
We've documented this. We have videos.
Oh my stars.
Where we went in the first time, the second time, and they went viral. I think almost 500,000 people saw the jail board meeting where the sheriff is sitting down, the chief of police is sitting down, the Commonwealth is sitting down, and we're telling them about Mustafa, and we're telling them about the other inmates that have been abused, and I literally have files, proof that they're being abused. That video went viral because each one of those individuals has a blank look on their face. They didn't give a fuck. They did not care. That video went viral. After that, after those meetings, no longer you can go into a jail board meeting, and they're completely closed off to the community. I mean, you want to talk about how is it that a public? By the way, they still call it a public. Yes, ma'am. They still call it a public jail board meeting.
But it's not public.
But it's not public. You can't. They only put it on the internet. They go live. You can't see. It's just audio. Oh, it's not even. It's not even live. It's recorded.
That's.
And they tell you by law we can do this. What?
And there's not enough citizens to stand up to demand public meetings again either. Right?
Who knows? I mean, who's looking into our county jail? The only time you look into our county jail is when something happened, but by then it's too late.
It's too late, yeah. The damage is way done.
I mean, this is a big problem in our county. Our county is not safe. I'm going to play a video where 2 years ago, I had a conversation with Sheriff Glenn Hill. And he came out and he said, nothing happened to your brother in my jail. I'm like, okay, Sheriff, let me watch the video. There is no video. I mean, 2 years ago, you have a sheriff that you can't hold accountable for his correctional officers. And we've been protesting that since. You got to go all the way back. Taking this all the way back is going to take a minute. But I think it's a very important video in light of what we're talking about. I mean, you have correctional officers that are harassing Mustafa over the phone. I mean, this is a phone. Gotta go all the way back.
Sorry, my ankle went to sleep. And my leg's asleep.
Mary Jo, I don't blame you. These podcasts drag because there's so much details that go into all of it. That literally, if we were to cover the whole entire thing and everything that's happened, literally, I think it's going to be a 24-hour podcast.
Well, it's only been 1 year since I've had back surgery, too.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's, I mean, it's healing good. Don't get me wrong. She gets testy sometimes.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, so, let's see.
All right, we're getting there. Almost there.
I like that video where that CO is in the elevator. The one that was on the stairs with Mustafa at that time.
That's the one that hits him on the head in that CCTV video. The one that you see him hitting him on the head, kicking it. That's him.
Yeah, you guys were putting him in the elevator.
No wonder he had that look on his face. Like you're literally telling him. This is the video where we're in front of the jail, and we're telling I have a bullhorn, and the sheriff literally comes out. He says, I need you to go to the jail board. I need you to email and ask the jail board.
I'll tell you something, sir. Mustafa, an internal investigation already started into his police report that's been falsified. They falsified it. I want to let you know because you see Mustafa every day. Okay, you're on the jail board. No, I don't see him every day. You're the sheriff. Right. You have a lot of people that look up to you, sir. I sit on the jail board. Yes, sir. But I want to make it very clear. I don't run the jail.
I don't run the jail. I'm on the jail board just like everybody else. I'm not in charge. Make sure you tell the truth now. He tells me, I'm not in charge. Tell the truth.
Whether you run the jail or you don't run the jail, my brother is sitting inside your jail, sir.
My brother was killed.
Robert.
And by the way, in the background, Mary Jo, you have the family of Robert Reed, an inmate who was killed inside that jail. So you have a family, a sister, a brother, the whole family is there. We're there talking about my brother. We're talking about Robert Reed. And the sheriff turns around to this girl that said, my brother is killed inside your jail. He says, Robert who? He doesn't even know Robert Reed. I mean, you've got a whole family that their brother died inside your jail. And you turn around, you say, Robert who? You're the sheriff. You're literally standing there telling me, make sure you tell the truth now. I'm not in charge. Then if the sheriff is not in charge, who's in charge? He tells me, email the board. Go to the board meeting that they shut down after we start going to it. I mean, Mary Jo, this is the board that we went to before they shut it down. This is a jail board meeting.
My brother is denied medical. He's being denied medical. The jail is done. The FBI is watching.
My name is Mohammed Al-Jazari. I'm Mustafa's older brother. And we're here today because Mustafa sits in jail today since April based on falsified police report, based on false accusations. We don't mind Mustafa fighting his case in court, but we want him to survive to have his day in court. This jail is not allowing him. They're not allowing him to live. When Mustafa says, I can't breathe, and the nurses deprive him of medical attention, when the jail officers look at him, they walk by his cell, and they tell him, the fact that you're complaining means you're breathing. Yesterday, Mustafa's vent was not blowing air. In his cell, his door is closed. It's covered with a tarp. He's in the corner of a jail where nobody's around him. The jail officers don't check on him. He's pushed the intercom button multiple times. And when he finally gets the phone, he tells us, I can't breathe. And nobody's doing anything about it. Now you have nurses, you have medical staff that are derelict in their duties. And they're depriving Mustafa of medical attention. Mustafa was beaten on May 24th. My brother already stated it. But I want to emphasize that Mustafa was unconscious for a period of time.
Mary Jo, you hear this?
And
We're telling him. This is, by the way, this is January 17, 2024. Now, a month before, there was another jail board that we went in and we talked about Mustafa. Prior to this, we've been protesting in front of the jail every single day. And the sheriff came out, we saw the video, where he says, go to the jail board. Email us. Yeah. We'll look into it. We'll get your brother to the hospital. I'll hold those correctional officers accountable. But I just want to let you know, nothing happened to your brother. My correctional officer would never do this. Well, sir, today We have the CCTV of video of 6 giant correctional officers carry Mustafa unconscious from one cell into another, and they were still hitting him on the head, kicking him. He's unconscious, handcuffed behind his back. Take him to another cell, strip him completely naked, sexually assault him, and deny him medical. I mean, Mustafa is writing a 20-page motion from jail. This is a motion. Mustafa is a paralegal. And he wrote a 20-page motion from jail to continue his case in federal court with Judge Hilton, and it's moving into the discovery phase. God help you when we get to the discovery phase. Because right now we have these videos. God help you when we get the rest of the videos. The man was beaten, stripped naked, sexually assaulted. Oh, the videos are going to come out. And God help this jail is going to be held accountable by law. This sheriff that pride himself says, oh, nothing happened. And he says, it's not true. And 2 years ago he lied. I mean, we have a black sheriff who's a Republican. Is that enough? I mean, yes, we do. That's good. We have a black sheriff. We're moving forward as a society that we can have a black sheriff. Great. Great. And a Republican, even better. But is that enough? You've got 7 kids dead in our county jail. Not 1, not 2, 7 within the past 5 years. I have files that these inmates have been murdered in our county jail. I'm in touch with their family, with their mother, and those mothers tell you, why is my son's face bashed in from a beating? Mohammed Ikram Shardil, Juan Campos. Mohammed Ikram Shardil, his face is bashed in from a beating. That mother supplied me with pictures that her son's face is bashed in from a beating. And the jail says he died and it's drug related. How is it drug related when the face is bashed in from a beating? That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. 18-year-old Juan Campos, the mother says my son's face bashed in from a beating. They tell that mother it's a heart attack. This is an 18-year-old child. 9 days into his incarceration, you're going to say he had a heart attack? And the face is bashed in from a beating? What's going on, Sheriff Glen Hill? And the minute that you talk about it, Mary Jo, by the way, these meetings are no longer public. They call it a public, but it's no longer public. And the minute that you talk about it,
now sexual assault is a serious.
They come out and they'll put you in handcuffs. This is Sheriff Glen Hill. Beautiful. We have a black sheriff who's a Republican. But is that enough? The minute you talk about his jail, this will happen to you. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go try it out yourself. It's public property. We have a First Amendment that you can stand there peacefully talk about what's going on in our county jail. I promise you, you're going to end up in jail. We're going to take a break. Let me just play this video to drive the point home. And we're going to take a break after this video. This is a video, Mary Jo. This is a video where I'm standing in front of the jail. And I'm literally, all I'm saying is the Commonwealth Attorney on her watch is allowing the jail to murder inmates. I mean, she's a jail board member. She is a jail board member. Her job is to protect inmate, not look the other way so that she gets a plea deal. You set the environment right enough where the inmate is so abused. When the Commonwealth attorney comes out and hands you a plea deal, you're begging her. You're like, get me the hell out of here.
Yeah, they done beat you down so much.
Yes, ma'am. Now the question is, how is that legal to have the same person prosecuting you as a jail or board member protecting you? It's illegal. If you look up Virginia's codes, that's actually illegal. You cannot have two positions. You can't be the Commonwealth attorney and hold another position in the county. She's holding two positions all at the same time. That's illegal. Mary Jo, almost there. There we go. This is the video. Mary Jo, this is a video. I come out on public property.
How are you, ma'am?
And I literally say,
right there.
the Commonwealth attorney is right there. The jail is right next door.
Now,
This is public property.
Johnny Bixby with spray paint. Simple. This sign right here says Amy Ashworth protects jail that murders inmates. Hello. See everybody right here is looking? You see everybody? Out the window? Fogging up the window? Right there. That's the Commonwealth Attorney office.
I'm literally, Mary Jo, I'm literally holding a cell phone. I'm recording a video, by the way.
Talking about what Amy Ashworth...
The deposition from the sheriff
Now,
says,
yesterday,
I'm
Amy
standing
Ashworth
on public
indicted
property.
my brother on first-degree murder.
I'm
using
peacefully
an
standing there.
investigator that falsified the police
And he had no idea that I'm being arrested for disorderly. That's the deposition coming out of the sheriff.
admitting that this investigator, Robert Drum, falsified my brother police report. This investigator is now on the Brady list for falsifying my brother police report. I stole the dash camera from the prosecutor. Hello, prosecutor. What a dumb prosecutor that you let me steal the dash camera from you using a pinhole camera. The dash camera shows that my brother did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. I have the Google Nest that shows my brother loves his family. But yet, you use an investigator that falsified the police report yesterday in front of a grand jury. Didn't tell the grand jury that he falsified the police report. Didn't tell the grand jury there's a dash camera that shows my brother did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Didn't tell the grand jury that there is a Google Nest that shows he loves his family. It's all good, ma'am. It's all coming out. Look, Amy Ashworth is fogging up the window right there.
She comes out, she waves.
See her right there?
5 minutes later, the sheriff comes out and arrests me.
What, are you upset that there is a sign right here?
I mean, I'm on public property.
That says Amy Ashworth
I'm recording a video.
protects a jail that murders people.
And during the deposition from the sheriff in General District Court, he says, I'm standing there peacefully.
Died on her watch. She's a jail board member.
I'm on public property. That's the deposition. That's the sheriff himself. That's arresting me in this video. And he says, I had no idea you were being arrested with disorderly. He throws his deputy sheriff under the bus. Like it's his deputy sheriff's fault. And he said, I have nothing to do with it.
I see everybody tensing up. What, you can't exercise the First Amendment anymore? We're on public property. Talking about the Commonwealth, who's a jail board member. She gets paid $50,000 on top of her $230,000 salary. On her watch, 18-year-old Juan Campos was murdered on the hand of Correctional Officer Eric Lindsay. On her watch, Muhammad Ikram Sherdale died inside this jail. On her watch, Robert Reed died on her watch inside this jail. She's a jail board member. Her job is to protect these inmates. Tony, how are you, sir? I love you, brother. The Commonwealth Attorney tried to use the sheriff office to get me arrested. I'm still here.
You know, I want to point out, this is not a reflection of every sheriff. There's a lot of sheriffs that are retired military, and they've been there for a long time. When I got arrested, I felt bad for those sheriffs that are being used by this. I felt bad for those deputy sheriffs that are retired military that are being used by this sheriff to protect the Commonwealth Attorney and those correctional officers that are abusing inmates. I mean, why arrest me? Why was it such a problem for someone to come out and say, Amy Ashworth, you're allowing a jail to murder inmates? We're talking about a private jail here, Mary Jo. Not a lot of people are aware of how much money comes into our county, it being a private jail. That a lot of things are being overlooked. 7 deaths in our county jail, and no one is asking questions. This jail makes a lot of money. It's a private jail. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican sheriff, a Democrat Commonwealth attorney. That doesn't matter anymore. They sold out the community a long time ago. There's so much money that's coming in from this private jail that it doesn't matter anymore. And on that note, Mustafa is calling in from Prince William County.
To refuse this call, hang up or press. Your current balance is $34.93. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Mustafa, hello. Mustafa, what's up, man? Thank you for joining this podcast. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cams, Judge Carol Weimer, Amy Hodgkins, a.k.a. Alcazai, Glenn Ford, Kylie Clapp, Nene, a.k.a. Kim Coleman, under the microscope. Mustafa, thank you for joining this podcast.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Mustafa, everybody watched the situation with that one correctional officer abuse you and just harass you over something as simple as a phone.
It's a nice try on Amy Hudson. She probably called the jail with her little comrades. Stephanie Claiborne Drum utilizing the police department resources because her husband, Robert Drum, is a police officer. You have individuals, thinking that, they're going to call the jail and the jail is going to be like, okay, you're limited. Well, they can't take away my 30-minute conversation. Nice try.
So,
I'm still here.
yes, sir.
My voice is being heard.
Let's drive the point home. What Mustafa is talking about is you have Amy Hodgkins, the individuals on the body cam that we have, that's sealed by the county, who claims to be a witness who knows everything about Mustafa, but didn't see anything. Literally, she says, I don't know Mustafa, I don't know Dorothy. She didn't see anything. But the county is using her as a witness. Now she's on the internet under Alcazai, Christine Alcazai. She says, my name is Christine Alcazai. If you go on TikTok, you'll see her live every day. Christine Warda 7. This individual, she tells you that's what she looks like. One day, that's popped up. That's what she actually looks like. Now, this individual is so terrified that the body cams are coming out, that the discovery is coming out, that the truth is coming out, that now she's calling the jail and telling them not to have Mustafa on the phone. Now, the question is, where does Sheriff Glenn Hill fall from all this bullshit? Is he going to allow Amy Hodgkins, Christine Alcazai, to involve him into what she's done? I mean, she lied about Mustafa, and now she's upset that it's coming out. And now she's calling the jail, complaining, why is Mustafa on the phone?
I just want to add, they're in deep trouble. That's why she's really mad. Because of her statements, they have caused tort. They have caused these correctional officers to beat me up, attempting to murder me because of Amy Hodson's statements. You have Kylie Clapp, who was 16 at the time.
in Glenn Ford's bed. How inappropriate. And you have her father, Jason Clapp, who works for Billy, the strip club owner. Let's connect all the pieces to the puzzle together. And then Kylie Clapp goes to Glenn Ford and tells him, solicits, let's kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident. What the hell's going on here? And you have Robert Drum with his wife utilizing police department resources for ill will. She's taking advantage of police resources to cause damages. That's illegal.
Mustafa, I have the picture of the wife of the investigator who was on the phone with Amy Hodgkins, who, by the way, doesn't work for the police department, but this investigator who falsified your police report is on the phone. What is she doing on the phone? I mean, what kind of police misconduct that you have the wife of the investigator on the phone with the individual who's pretending to be a witness, and this investigator, I mean, what are we doing here? Investigator Robert Drum. Why is Investigator Robert Drum not held accountable by the county? You've got your wife, who doesn't work for the police department, on the phone, and you know that this lady is lying to you. Amy Hodgkins is lying to you. We have her body cam. Now, they're terrified. They're terrified at the idea that these details are coming out. Mustafa, we have a recording of Glenn Ford admitting to a private investigator that Kylie, the other star witness, has admitted to him that she was trying to kill you. Can we kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident? Now, this is the same girl that tells the police a lot of negative things about you. She's painting you as abusive to Dorothy, abusive to the kids, and she tells the police, I was never there. Kylie was never there. She tells the police. I mean, that's hearsay. We have that girl who at the time was 16, who today she's 18, but she likes to hide behind the fact, telling people, I'm a minor. Well, we have you on a recorded line that you went to Glenn Ford, the jealous ex-boyfriend, and solicited to kill Mustafa. We have that recording. Mustafa, we're going to play that recording.
Okay. The truth is coming out, and they're really mad.
Amy Hodgkins is so mad that she's calling the jail, and we all witnessed it yesterday, how the correctional officer is, they're harassing you over the phone. I mean, what's really going on? Let's listen to... Nice try. Nice try. All right, this is Kylie. There we go.
Especially the older daughter. And she wanted me to shoot, like, kill him.
The older daughter wanted you to kill him?
Yeah. Like, where? Like, could you please, like, if I make it look like, so, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something, it's like self-defense, would you do it? And I'm like, yeah, no.
Why did they share him so much?
The way he treated him wrong.
Now, Kylie goes up to Glenn Ford and asks, can we kill him and make it look like an accident? Well, today we have a vehicle accident, and the police mechanic says the brake doesn't work, the transmission doesn't work, the drive shaft literally disconnected from the engine. I mean, where's the police department from investigating Kylie, who's soliciting to kill Mustafa? I mean, we have Kylie, who her father worked for a strip club owner who had a problem with Mustafa a month before Mustafa met Dorothy. Let's watch that video. A month before Mustafa met Dorothy, Mustafa used to go to a location, who promotes his business and sell. He has physical therapy equipment devices, those small devices that are FDA approved, and he has heat warmers. He would go there, it's public property, and would sell and promote his business. Now one day, the club owner, the strip club owner in Crystal City, comes out and is yelling at Mustafa, and this video goes viral because a racist man being racist to Mustafa, it just went viral. Now, why was Billy upset?
But goddamn it, I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking go. You're gonna fucking get off my property. How many times I have to tell him, officer? Get the fuck off my property. Get the.
You hear Mustafa? Mustafa's vehicle is not even in front of his property. It's on front of the Chinese restaurant. To the right, there's a Chinese restaurant. To the left, there is a 7-Eleven. Mustafa's been going to that location for over 3 years. Now, why is Billy yelling and screaming at Mustafa? He has no right to kick Mustafa off that property. It's public property. This video goes viral.
Fuck off it.
I got this whole thing on video.
Get the fuck off my property. You get the fuck off it. You're gonna go to jail, bro. Yeah, you watch who goes to fucking jail. How many times have you heard how many times I've told him? And you'll fucking see where we're standing. Get the fuck off my property, motherfucker. Bitch, fuck you. Get off. Fucking keep it up.
Unbeknownst to Mustafa, when he meets Dorothy a month after this incident, apparently, Dorothy's daughter, her dad works for Billy. Now, this is a club owner who goes viral, and the community started boycotting this establishment for being racist to Mustafa. And Mustafa's vehicle was tampered with. They stole his whole entire catalytic system under the car. I have a video, and we'll play that video. Dorothy's daughter, her dad works for Billy. And we have her admitting on a recorded line that her dad works for Billy. Why is she angry at Mustafa?
My dad, he's a piercer. He pierces like a lot of strippers, and he had brought up to them what happened, and they were and who they were, and they were like, yeah, we know this guy. Like, he used to record our license plates and put it on the internet and like follow us home and stuff. So I also was thinking, I don't want them to follow me home, and I don't want to put myself in a position where, you know, I'm unsafe.
Now, Kylie is formulating her opinion about Mustafa through that environment. The same strippers that loved Mustafa and used to go out and promote Mustafa's heat warmers and help him sell it on their break. I have videos. I have so many videos. Are against Mustafa because their boss is going viral and they're boycotting, the community is boycotting their establishment. So they start antagonizing Mustafa. You want to tell me Dorothy's daughter is formulating her opinion about Mustafa through the eyes of those strippers? And we have her on a recorded line where she goes up to the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, and she solicited to kill Mustafa? And can we make it look like an accident?
Especially the older daughter. And she wanted me to shoot, like, kill him.
The older daughter wanted you to kill him?
Yeah. Like, where? Like, could you please, like, if I make it look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something, it's like self-defense, would you do it? And I'm like, no.
Glenn Ford goes into details about what this girl was going through at the time. She's involved in prostitution. She's involved in drugs. That her mom did not want to have anything to do with her. She was moving forward with her life. And this girl felt abandoned when mom met Mustafa and was getting her life together and moving forward. This girl started blaming Mustafa for taking her mom. In a forensic interview, literally, that's what she says. And here she is formulating her opinion about Mustafa through the eyes of those strippers. I don't know. Did she solicit Glenn Ford because Billy told her? The guy that has a problem with Mustafa? Did she solicit because she felt abandoned? I don't know. But at the end of the day, you have a police department that's using Kylie as a character witness into Mustafa. A character witness into Mustafa's relationship with her mom when she's never lived at that apartment. She lived with her dad. She was never there. A character witness into Mustafa's relationship with the kids when she never lived there. The police department is using someone that has a motive against Mustafa into the character of him, and that's a problem. You have someone that's solicited to kill Mustafa, is hanging around people that hates the fuck out of Mustafa. And you want to tell me the police department is using that person as a character witness? Glenn Ford is a pedophile. We have him on a recorded line. Mary Jo, we have him on a recorded line where he says, I fucked Kylie. He says, I wake up, Kylie would show up, doesn't know where she's at. She's on drugs, hard drugs, not weed, hard drugs. I'm on the same drugs. I wake up with her in my bed. He's talking about a 16-year-old. At the time, Kylie was 16 years old. Let's listen to that audio. I mean, this is 2 years later into this situation. Mustafa had no idea he got in with Dorothy with everything going on in the background. This is them admitting on a recorded line what's happening in the background. I mean, how the fuck is Mustafa supposed to know what Kylie's dad is working for? Who's Kylie's dad is working for? Who's Glenn Ford? I mean, Glenn Ford himself says Mustafa doesn't know me. Mary Jo, Glenn Ford says Mustafa doesn't know me, but I'm watching Mustafa. You're telling me you're watching He breaks up with Dorothy. He kicks her out. She's living out of a van for Mustafa met Dorothy. She's living out of a van with 5 kids. The reason she's living out of a van with 5 kids is because Glenn Ford used to abuse her, used to abuse the kids, and he kicked her out in the middle of the winter. That's not me saying it. That's the ex-husband testimony on a body cam to the police. Says that Glenn Ford used to abuse the kids. As a matter of fact, he gives detail. He says Glenn Ford used to be jealous of 5-year-old Empress, of Dorothy's 9-year-old child, and because Dorothy loved the kids, he was jealous and he used to abuse them because of it. And he threatened to kill him. Now, let's listen to Glenn Ford's, on a recorded line, admit to a private investigator that he's a pedophile, that he wakes up with a 16-year-old in his bed.
One time I went to sleep, I woke up, she was in my bed. I got my ass up and went in the fucking living room and stuff. Like, no, it's right now. Like, I fuck with you, my friend, and all that. Like, I know we had a history, we had a past, whatever, but this is different. This is fucking different. We are grown. You are still in a worse situation. Sleep, I woke up, she was in my bed. I got my ass up and went in the fucking living room.
I wake up with her in my bed. Let's listen to the part where he talks about her and mom are arguing, and when she says, we're fucking the same guy. You're telling me that a 16-year-old at the time is arguing with her mom and tells her, we're fucking the same guy. You have a pedophile that's the star witness into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, and the police department think, I mean, it's been 2 years, and details are coming out where he's admitting that on a recorded line. That's not me saying it. That's him saying it on a recorded line to a private investigator.
Maybe I had to force those kids to take a fucking shower.
He forces the kids to take a shower. What 40-year-old man, Mary Jo, what 40-year-old man forces a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old to shower? He said, I'm forcing the kids to shower. Listen to this. I mean, this is disturbing.
I had to force those kids to take a shower. Maybe I had to force those kids to take a fucking shower. I had to teach them how to fucking take a shower. I mean, I wasn't in there with the boys looking around or whatever. I'm like...
And he's trying to convince the private investigator, I'm not in there with the boys. I'm not looking at them. I'm just showering them. I mean, you want to tell me that's normal? A 40-year-old man showering a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old? That's not normal.
Y'all wash up, that's how you wash up. One time I went to sleep, I woke up, she was in my bed, I got my ass up.
This part where he goes into the details about Dorothy and Kylie's relationship and what the argument between Kylie was separated by CPS before Mustafa's relationship with Dorothy is 3 months. 3 months. Before Mustafa, Kylie had a lot of problem with her mom, and Glenn Ford goes into the details of the problem. He says that mom is always arguing with her about wearing, like, walking around half naked. She's upset about her being on drugs. So it's just, the mom is having this problem with this 16-year-old wants to tell her mom what to do. So he goes into details. Let's listen.
How old was she? 16? 15 or 16. One time my daughter came to my house all high and shit. I'm like, yo, bro, nah. I told her, like, yo. Like, it's weed or? No, it's not weed.
She shows up all high. It's not weed.
She used to come in and like not and was like on the ground like.
She used to come in. She doesn't know where she's at. She's on the ground. He's describing what she's going through. She's on harder drugs, and then he goes in. He says, "I'm on the same drugs."
Like opiates. Man, and I sit there like, bruh. Like, I take them. Well, I took them. Yeah. And I didn't act like that. Like, yeah. That was like me. I used to do like to the point where I took it because I didn't want to get sick with all this. Yeah. So I took like one. I think one. I'm good for the day. Yeah. She looked like she took like multiple, or she took them like different ways. Did with her? No. I know for a fact Dorothy didn't do pills with her, but she would smoke weed with her. Okay. I told Dorothy, you're going to come to this house like that one more time.
Why do you think that she did something like she did what happened to her with that one?
Who don't said it?
What the fuck she saying?
Like when she was arguing with her mom, like, cause Dorothy and her used to argue all the time.
This is not the oldest one.
Not the oldest one. The oldest one, she's a sweetheart. She's a fucking sweetheart. But she gangster too. Nah. Like, she gangster, like, she's ready to kill that nigga. Like, seriously kill that nigga.
She's the one that wanted to do it.
The older one.
So what did she say to?
Oh, cause
they be arguing.
Yeah, and she be like, the way she dressed and shit. Dorothy be like, you run around acting like a little slut or whatever.
The way she dressed, they're arguing. The way she dressed, she will run around like a slut. That's not me saying it. This is on a recorded line. Yes, sir.
Well, what time is it?
It is 10:54.
Alright, I just got 6 minutes and I gotta go.
Okay. Mustafa, I love you. You doing okay? Everything's good?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Actually, I just want to say, the more they talk, the more the truth is coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is right there, right in front of you. All you gotta do is just connect the pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Amy Hodson, that's the main culprit here that caused all this damage. And you got, it's like a spider web. You got Amy Hodson, you got Kylie Clapp, you got her dad Jason Clapp, you got Kim Coleman, the neighbor, you got Glenn Ford, you got Robert Drum and Stephanie Claiborne Drum, alongside with some individuals that are okaying this behavior. But oversight is going to come through a higher authority and it's going to say, what the hell are you guys doing?
Mustafa, I want to tell you, we're taking a deep dive into the details. And every day we come on this podcast and we take a deep dive into the body cams, the audios, the discovery document. As a matter of fact, beautiful Mary Jo drives an hour to get here, to get to the bottom of what they're doing here in her county. She's not okay with police misconduct. As a matter of fact, she got me a monkey, a beautiful pink monkey. And this goes perfect with the term that I coined for myself when I was protesting for you, that I'm a barefooted monkey. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. And Susie, a couple of days ago, she came up to me, and she gave me, Mary Jo. What is she? What's her name? Ursula. Ursula. Yes. The mermaid, the one that was chasing after Ariel. That's what Amy looks like. Amy Hodgkins, aka Christine Alcazar. Now you've got a barefooted monkey, and you've got Ursula from the Mermaid. And can they just get along and be on a podcast and have a conversation? Now I invite Amy Hodgkins, aka Christine Alcazar, Christine Alcaraz, whatever the fuck she wants to call her name, to have a conversation. I mean, she's on a body cam saying that you're abusive, but she didn't see anything. She said she don't know Mustafa, she don't know Dorothy, but she's on a body cam and the police department is using her as a witness. Now, she's online telling people, my name is Christine Alcaraz. Now, can I invite her to a podcast and we can sit and have a conversation? I mean, she's on the internet trolling the conversation. You know, Mustafa, at one point... Yeah.
Play her recording of her saying how innocent I am when she's talking to John Reed. Play that recording.
Oh, I have it.
I got 5 minutes and I gotta go.
Okay.
I just want to tell all my supporters I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But I just want to say that play that recording right now with Amy Hodgson talking to John Reed, saying how she supports me.
What's up, King Mustafa? That's Amy Hodgkins.
She got the warrior spirit.
Got the warrior spirit.
You know, Eddie, listen, do you know what the American Indians used to do when they would go into the sweat lodges?
That's Amy Hodgkins.
You be their voice.
I write them about. I write a letter every single day.
Love letters.
And I just wanted to chime in on a statement that he made to me, which was, it almost like it just cracked my heart.
You know, Mustafa, she's sitting here screaming that you're innocent. She's fighting for you, but she's on a body cam with the police.
Play that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right now, like, it just scares me up.
Okay.
Because he made a statement that, you know, no matter what was going on, no matter what they did to him, that he was going to sit and do, like we talked about, like diaphragm breathing, and then he was going to sit and he was going to close his eyes, and he said, and I'm going to make myself feel like I could fly, and I won't even be here. And he said that someone had asked him earlier that day that, where's your home at? And he said, this is my home for right now. You know, he just has such a great attitude. I mean, he's just a wonderful human being. Like, you know, nobody's perfect. Nobody's an angel.
She's talking about Mustafa.
But I can tell you that this man is innocent. I read the discovery.
She read the discovery.
There's 1 million holes for the discovery.
There's 1 million holes to the discovery.
Which they weren't even meant to get. And Muhammad could speak on that after me. The Casey Stevens probably accidentally gave that to them. Where the police officer stated right in there that the brakes failed on the vehicle.
The brake failed.
Construction done after the accident, and by the way, they also tampered with the car. But
She's talking about Billy. Kylie, can we kill Mustafa? Mary Jo, are we listening to this? She's talking about Kylie. Can we kill Mustafa and make? I mean, we've got Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend, on a recorded line saying that Kylie came up to him and said, can we kill Mustafa? Make it look like an accident. Now the police are admitting that this vehicle, someone tampered with the brakes. There's mechanical failure.
I gotta go in like 3 minutes.
Mustafa, on that note, I'm going to give the phone to Mom. I love you. Stay strong. I literally have Mary Jo gave me a monkey. I have that monkey hugging Ursula from The Mermaid. And I invite Amy Hodgkins. I mean, look at how they're hugging. Not too close, motherfuckers. They're hugging, and I invite Amy Hodgkins on a podcast. So instead of trolling the conversation, let's talk about the details. You say on a body cam, you don't know Mustafa, you don't know Dorothy. So does Kylie have you wrapped around her finger that she made you say? Because in the body cam, that's exactly what she said. She said you should talk to Kylie. Kylie has a motive that she's lying about you. I invite her on a podcast. I mean, Mary Jo is here. Why can't she be like Mary Jo? Okay, she's on a podcast. She's asking questions. She's asking details. Well, on that note, Fatima, can you do me a favor? Can you give the phone to? Well, on that note, let's end the podcast. I think we covered a lot. In this podcast. And on that note, Mary Jo, thank you for being here, Mary Jo. I want to thank everybody Shelly, Tracy, Casey, Stefana, Becky, Farah, and Farah. God bless you, ma'am. Thank you for donating into Mustafa's legal fund. I want to ask everybody and remind everybody that Mustafa needs a lawyer. Mustafa's legal fund is a Cash App. It's a $, Mustafa Legal Fund. The legal fund is posted on our social media. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of the conversation. This is not a boring podcast. I mean, you've got a barefooted monkey and Amy Hodgkins. How could it be a boring podcast? And they're hugging each other. This is the lady's on private. By the way, the more I talk about her, the more she goes in private. She's going the wrong direction. Thank you for being here. Oh, Mustafa. Thank you for being here. I love you, Mustafa. I love you. I love you. You take care of yourself. And I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. I love you, man. I love you. Yeah, it's gone. No. Take care. Take care, Habibita. I love you. Good night.
Discover the digital.
Mustafa, I love you. Got 35 seconds probably. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. I love you, man. You take care of yourself. We're taking care of the outside. And you have a lot of people fighting for you.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Now, really quick, before we end this podcast, I wanted to show the video of the arrest. And we were talking about the sheriff, we were talking about the jail, and we were talking about the First Amendment being violated. This is me being arrested in front of the county jail for simply talking about my brother. Yes, ma'am. For simply talking about my brother and the inmates that are beautiful. We have Mustafa calling in from our county jail, joining this beautiful podcast.
Your current balance is $31.30. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Mustafa, hello.
I only got like a minute.
A minute. Yeah. Fatima, can you give the phone to Mom? Mustafa, I love you, okay? Habibita. Before we end this podcast, I wanted to show Mary Jo the video that I was talking about. Now, Mary Jo, in Prince William County, there is no First Amendment.
Apparently not.
The minute you talk about what goes on in our county jail, they're going to put you in handcuffs. This is a video of me being on public property.
Okay.
Yeah.
For what? What am I getting arrested for? What am I getting arrested for, sir? What am I getting arrested for, sir? I'm asking you a question. I'm peaceful. I'm not resisting. I'm exercising my First Amendment. This is public property. There is no designated area, sir. No, sir. You do not have designated area. This is public property. And if I want, I can be in that lobby as long as I'm not disrupting the peace. No. We're not moving anywhere. This is our First Amendment. I didn't go overseas for 3 years to have someone arrest me and infringe on my First Amendment. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Good God.
All right, Sheriff Glenhill. I'm not disrupting the peace. This is public area. What are you gonna do? Okay, keep recording.
By the way, Mary Jo, I had the court, and there was a deposition for the sheriff in General District Court. The deposition from Sheriff Glenhill is that I was on public property, that I was not disorderly. And he said he had no idea that I was being arrested for disorderly. When we just watched, Sheriff Glen Hill gave the order for me to be arrested on disorderly. He ordered for me to be arrested that I was being disorderly. But during his deposition, he said he had no idea, and he threw his arresting deputy sheriff, the deputy sheriff that actually put me in handcuffs, under the bus. He said it's the fault of that deputy sheriff. I had no idea. Now, the deputy sheriff that put me in handcuffs is a retired Marine. Why would you, one, put the deputy sheriff in that position, and two, during your deposition, throw him under the bus like he doesn't matter? I felt bad for those deputy sheriffs that were carrying out the order of the sheriff. Because those are retired military that are being put in a position, they're following orders from the sheriff. Now in Prince William County, here, one of the deputies hit my sister. One of the deputies bends my arm to the point that he's almost breaking it. And I'm telling Deputy Sheriff Major Terry that your deputy is bending my arm. He's sitting there with his hands in his pocket, watching his deputy sheriff bend my arm. Like it doesn't matter. What are you teaching me a lesson, sir? I'm 40 years old. You're enjoying that your deputy sheriff bend my arm and almost break it? That you literally have your hands in your pocket watching? I mean, if there was no camera, this would, if I were to tell this to anybody, and there was no camera, no one would believe it. Your officer is twisting my arm.
You didn't have to do that, sir. You got anything else? You want to give any of this to your mom? Yes, sir. What do you want to give to? All of it, sir. To my sister right there. Is this?
I have, during a deposition,
I'm on public property.
I'm on public property. It's my First Amendment. I mean, what am I saying? I had a banner on public property that said the Commonwealth Attorney, Amy Ashworth, allows a jail to murder inmates. We've got 7 dead inmates in our county jail. My brother got beaten up, sexually assaulted, denied medical. They falsified his police report. I'm on public property exercising a constitutionally protected activity. Why am I getting arrested? You know that little park? Mary Jo, you know that little park in front of the courthouse? That's public property. You don't have to take my word for it. That's literally the deposition of the sheriff, and I have a recording of it. The sheriff admit this is public property.
I want to, like tomorrow or whenever we go to that, I want to listen to the whole thing. There's like the last 2 minutes. I want to just listen to what he,
yeah.
I don't know what I'm looking for, but as
Yeah.
soon as it hits my ear, I'll tell you. I do things like that sometimes. I'll
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
it. And I gotta
I'll look
go back.
forward to
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. I'll look forward to you taking a deep dive into that situation, because I literally have court in 45 days with Sheriff Glen Hill in circuit court, because we took it. We had court in general district court, and the judge, the presiding judge, literally said, "I play golf with Sheriff Glen Hill, and I rent half of my building to the previous attorney that you had a problem with, Casey Stevens. So I want to let you know, so that way, whether I'm impartial or not, I'm just letting you know. I play golf with the sheriff.
They're impartial.
So my lawyer at the time deposed the Sheriff Glen Hill on the stand. Okay. And there is the whole proceeding is recorded. On the stand, Sheriff Glen Hill says, "I am on public property. I'm not being disorderly." And he had no idea that I was being arrested for disorderly. That's literally the deposition of the sheriff. And then he took it further, and he says the deputy sheriff is at fault. He's the one that arrested. I had no idea he was being arrested or disorderly. Now there's a video of him giving out the order, arrest him for. I'm asking the sheriff, "What am I being arrested for, sir? I'm on public property." He wouldn't tell me, and then he motions to his deputy sheriff, arrest him for being disorderly. It's a giant lawsuit, First Amendment lawsuit. You literally stopped me from exercising my First Amendment, fighting for my brother and the other inmates. So, regardless, in general district court, the judge tells you I'm impartial, and he didn't rule in my favor. So I'm appealing it. So it's moving to circuit court. I have court in. I mean, I've never. I mean, he's telling you I'm not impartial. I play golf with the sheriff. You know, regardless of the evidence, he's not ruling on the evidence. He's ruling on a relationship. He's telling you I'm gonna rule on a relationship. Flat out telling you. Yeah, and it's on a recording.
Yeah.
It's on a recording. These people and the length that they go to. It's being appealed in circuit court in 45 days. And 100%, I'm going to make sure that Sheriff Glenn Hill is held accountable. And I'm going to have his badge and uniform so he doesn't do this to anybody else. We should be able to have a First Amendment in Prince William County. When there's police misconduct, we should be able to come out without risking us being in handcuffs. I think that's fair. I think that's valid. And on that note, and this, Mary Jo, this what I'm trying to tell you, that because it's a private jail, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican anymore. They both sold out the county a long time ago. There's so much money that comes into our county because of this private jail. The minute you talk about it, they're going to put you in handcuffs. I mean, great. We have a black sheriff and a Republican. But the question, is that enough? It's not enough when the minute you come out, you get arrested. On that note, Mary Jo, thank you for being here. I love you, ma'am. I want to thank everybody that was on a group chat with us. Shelly, Stefana, Becky, Tracy, Casey, Char, and her dog. That beautiful lady and what I put her through and what she ended up doing to that beautiful dog. I want to remind everybody we're working on inviting Amy Hodgkins on a podcast. And God, we want her to show up to ask her questions. I think it's fair. Mary Jo is here. Why would you not be here? I mean, if you don't feel safe in our home, we can hold a public podcast in front of the FBI building. I've done it before. You got sidewalk, public property, put a table and a chair. There's guards from the Department of Justice. So we're literally right there. You can be there and you can ask this barefooted monkey the hard questions. I mean, look, they're hugging each other. Isn't that beautiful? Why can't we do that in real life? We can sit peacefully and have a conversation. On that note, thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cams, Judge Carol Weimer, Glenn Ford, Amy Hodgkins, a.k.a. Christine Alcaraz, Kylie Clapp, Nene, a.k.a. Kim Coleman, under the microscope. Thank you for being here.